Let's see if I can use my window capture for this. I can. That is good news. Just have to center this shit. Hold on. Center, please. Is that as good as it's gonna get? Yeah, oh, that is center. Perfect center. Okay. Good news, I guess. Why not Generations Ultimate? Because that's on a console, and that would require a very different setup to the current one. It's much easier for me to go back and forth between games that I'm playing on the PC. If, you know, a particular game is not gonna yield a room for me to actually hunt in. Why not Generations Ultimate? Why not? Why not Try? Why not Freedom Unite? Why not Portable Third? But yeah, do bear with me. It has to be said that the chances of me actually having a group to play with here in Monster Hunter 1 are extremely low. I don't know why I'm going from, you know, maybe 75 to 80% chance of getting a decent room to join, failing at that, and then going to like 30% chance of getting a room. It's a bit strange. But, login fail, that's bullshit, man. I got it right. Oh, sorry, it's all... Oh, God. Yes, correct. No, the server is not incorrect. I'm the one who's incorrect. Just put in the wrong password. Oh, AJ's going to play with me. Nice. Well, it does pay to have a viewership that do play the games. Well, that's very good news. I've been rewarded for taking a chance. Now let's see if there's anyone actually playing. That'll be good. There are 3 people in the town. Of course, it's a limit of... well, how many people can be in one town? I think it's 10. I think 10 is the maximum, so... I will join Redland. Town 1. Yeah, so the city mode, or the town mode, whatever you want to call it, for both Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter G, and then in addition to that, Monster Hunter 2, does require an account. It's just because that's how the system was on the PlayStation 2. So when you play on fan-made servers, it basically mimics that original system. So yes, it is accounts-based. I will update the stream information to actually reflect what I'm playing. I think that's important. Anyone who was really, really banking on me playing for Ultimate and is absolutely beside themselves with disappointment that I'm now playing something that's much less commonly live-streamed, I apologize. But this is the way it's going to be. Monster Hunter 2004. Yes, they didn't have QR codes in 2004, but you can see that there is a lot of aspects to the login have been customized. In much the same way that there was no Monster Hunter old school server in 2004. Now, I do have a lot of things that need to be put away. I'm actually going to go put them away in the smithy because the smithy is closer. Hopefully the game volume is fine. I might bump it up a little bit. Yeah, the weapon is not actually visible on the character when you are in the city, or indeed in the village if you're playing offline. I'm not going to put away my shots just yet. You never know, I may need them, but I'm more likely to sell them if I don't need them than put them away. Of course, I'm not going to leave them in my inventory, I don't have enough space for that. So, space management, inventory and box management is almost as intrinsic to this game as fighting a monster or building an armor set. It's really annoying. And there is no auto sort, just to be very clear. This is all the space that I have now, And this is all the space that I'm ever going to have in this game, and there is no auto sort. So it's a special kind of thing. And also, things don't stack to 99 for the most part in this game. Monster materials do, but almost anything else doesn't. So there you have it. Who's in this room? Player list. We've got Hunter G, who is walking around. I did see him. We've also got Dante DMC and Puantva, who actually does live stream. There you go. One of the few, I suppose. And AJ has joined us. Again, big thanks to him for tagging along for this live stream. Makes my life considerably easier. You can see that it shows when he's connecting to the town, and then, additionally, when he actually arrives. I think he's endgame. As I recall, he is endgame. Let me just have a look. No, he is HR 14. He will get a red name when he is in endgame. I don't know when you get a red name. I don't think it's HR 20. It might be starting at HR 18 or something you get your red name. I think it's... I think it denotes the final level of quests rather than the final hunter rank, the red name. But again, I could be wrong. I'm going based on vague memories. As for what we do, I need to actually look at what needs doing. As I believe, so my progression at the moment is pretty good. So I'm not going to need to upgrade this armor set for quite some time yet. I don't believe that can be leveled up at all. I think these guys might have been waiting for me. They weren't talking to me or anything, but they may have been waiting for me. But I think they just ended up departing on their own thing. One way or the other, the level at which they're hunting is not something that I can participate in. So it may work that I wasn't playing with them anyway. It may be easier for them, that is to say. But I think all I really need at the moment is HRP. So one of the annoying things is that your key quests aren't always going to be visible. Or maybe it is the case that your key quests will always be visible, but they still are on rotation. If you have something that has yet to be completed that is key, you're not going to have all of these appearing, in other words. I don't think I need the Wyvern Egg Hunt, but yeah, I'm quite sure, based on vague memories, that I've completed all of the key quests for 3-star, and I'm now just waiting to get enough HRP to progress to HR 13. I'm currently at HR 11. So I have a little bit further to go. I'm at 20,185. I need 25,000 in total to progress to 12, and then obviously I need to reach another threshold, which will probably be either 2,800 or 3,000. I don't know. It sounds weird to say 3,000. Don't say that. Say 30,000. If you're saying 3,000, there's a problem. So AJ's posting a quest, probably something that will be good for HRP. He's posted something that is at a level higher than what I can select, but not at a level that's beyond what I can join. It is Gravios, so hopefully this Sword and Shield is going to not bounce the entire quest. We'll find out. But I'm going to sell my ammunition here, I think. It's probably worthwhile doing that. I will definitely bring antidotes. I'll only bring 5. And do I need much more space than that? I probably do, don't I? For the monster materials. And for things that I pick up on the quest, such as... If I'm going to be departing on this quest, I should really be mining, so I think I'm going to do that. Let's sell our ammunition. Or I could actually bring a gun. That is also an option that is available to me. May actually be ideal if we're... Let's do that. Sorry, do bear with me. I'm going to change to a bowgun. My armor set for bowgunning is not as good as this one. You can see that I keep hitting no because the option to hit no appears almost immediately while I am spamming through that lady's text. But yeah, we'll choose the bowgun because I just find that to be more comfortable against Gravios anyway. Let's go to the pawn room. Again, very important that you actually read what that says, not just go based on what I've said verbally. Otherwise that might be a little confusing. I do not have much Zenny. This is one thing that you will experience in first generation. I mean, you're familiar with this, Yells, having played Monster Hunter Freedom 1. You are eternally lacking in money. As for food, let me just remember what I usually eat. I had worked out what I usually eat. Like, what I was more likely to succeed in eating. Let's just go meat and cheese. I think that's pretty likely to be successful. It might give me 110 health or something and no stamina. But that's pretty much as good as it's going to get at this point in the game. Yeah, I think it's acceptable to say everything up to 2900 and then after that it just sounds and feels wrong. My maximum health has been decreased by my choice to eat that food. Okay. Very good. I have handicapped myself for this fight. I also have gunner defense. I mean, obviously, it's almost advisable at this stage to just depart on a quest briefly and come back just to reset myself to 100 health. For God's sake. Yeah, you are correct. It's better to go for meat and grain rather than meat and cheese. I think it's, well, anyway, it's fine. I've already made my mistake. Alright, full battle set. This is the... Well, hold on. No, I've got the wrong loadout. I need the... You see, once it's blanked out, I can't fucking see it, apparently. This is my gunner set. Very good. Sorry, just adjusting to playing this game. It's been a while. Alright. Now we are more or less ready. Yes, I've eaten meat and dairy, which was probably not a good idea. Well, money is terrible for all of first generation. Freedom 1 is probably the easiest when it comes to your money. Of the first gen games, it's the most lenient, we'll say. The least demanding. I'm going to handicap myself for this fight, and oh, whoops, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to join from here. So as I say, I'm going to handicap myself for this fight with 90 HP. The point is not to get hit, and we should be alright with that. So I didn't sell my ammunition, which was good. I've got normal level 2 and pierce level 1. That should be what I want for this gun. I don't think I want anything beyond that. Yes, that is what we want, and... What else did we have? We had paralysis shot, I think. Yeah, stun, it's called in this game. Which I should be able to purchase just here. I'm not going to bother with any other status shots. This should be sufficient. Hopefully. If it's not, we'll fucking know about it. Unless... No, I don't think I can shoot normal level 3 with this gun. No. So... We'll just hope that this is enough. I should have some ammunition in the box as well, or perhaps I won't. Depends how 4-star quests work. I don't remember what sort of things you get in the box. Can't buy any level 3 shots. Well, glad to be reminded. But anyway, welcome everyone. We are here in Monster Hunter 1. I'm not starting the VOD from here, that would be a bit silly. As you can see, there's a bit of a wardrobe change today. Thought I'd change colours. I don't think it's a permanent change or anything. Okay. I'm, by the way, reloading by flicking down on the analog stick. And I will be pressing the analog stick to shoot. Yes, it is as bad as it sounds. Alright, so I've got some normal level 2 and pierce level 1 in the box if I do run out, so it's not going to be the end of the world. Fortunately, we are still at a point in the game where they are being reasonably charitable. Friendly. Supportive of our mission. Brown jacket for a brown game. True. Very true. This is the brown-themed Monster Hunter game, where all the menus are brown. And the game is probably very washed out and colourless. Depends where you are, though. Depends where you are. I don't really want to mine too much. I don't want to leave AJ to solo the monster. So I'll try to mine a little bit more strategically than that. I'm not just going to go around mining what I'll do is probably mine in Area 4 once Gravios moves on. It's very dark, this game, isn't it? Look how dark this game is. I can barely see shit. Alright, let's, yep, we'll just start with the big guns. Well, he decided not to continue running. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Need to remember what I'm playing here. Well, very high... Oh, yep, have to press the button, that's right. Very, very high sensitivity on the aiming here. Much higher than I remember. No, I can carry 5 drinks. Not sure what you saw that gave you that impression, that I was limited to 1. Oh, I'll tell you what I did fail, though. Oh, you can carry 3, sorry, not 5. Even I'm misremembering at this point. Yeah, you are limited to 3. Sorry, if I played Monster Hunter 1 more regularly, I'd remember these things off the cuff, but I do not play this game very regularly. If it were easier to play with people, I definitely would, and maybe I'll try to play with AJ in my own time more often. But if it were easier to find people to play with, I would definitely play more often. Keep in mind that even though my loadout looks really, really basic, this is entirely appropriate for this level of quest, for Monster Hunter 1. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make is using your knowledge of previous Monster Hunter games to inform your understanding of this game. It's really not how it works. So many things are different that you'll end up just confusing yourself. So yeah, if you're used to how rarities should be at a certain level of the game from future games, don't use that to then base your knowledge off when looking at this game. It is different. Oh, we've got a proper knockdown here. I forgot to check to see what weapon AJ was using. Looks like he's got a sword and shield. I think that's the... well, I can't quite see the design. It briefly looked like the Odyssey blade, but I think it's different. I can always check. Oh no, not in the quest. I can check when I'm not in the quest. The battle set does not require arena coins, no. I don't seem to remember it requiring arena coins in Freedom Unite either. I think you're thinking of the Black Belt set, I think. Got a limping Gravios. Poor bugger. He's having a nasty old day. I know why it's hard for me to see the television screen right now. It's because I've got a lot of daylight shining on my screen at the moment, and because the game is so dark, I almost have to squint. It's not to the point where I'm being fatigued or anything. Not getting any visual fatigue, but still not that pleasant. Alright. You can't skip this, by the way. You have to watch the damn monster falling over. And what you do is you watch your little character on the map to maneuver yourself over to the monster. Because obviously you're going to be very discombobulated and disoriented as far as your character's position in relation to the monster while the cutscene is playing, like the death scene. So you have to look at the minimap and watch your little character icon to see where the hell you are. Once I've carved the Gravios, I will try to mine. Alright, where the hell? Just need to remember where the mining spots are. Are there any here? This is a scenario where it really helps to memorize them. Alright, let's try down here. I'm sure that there is one down here, but I may run out of time. Unfortunately, in the volcano, you will not usually have cracks. There is a crack. Wow. I think I managed to just get one thing there. Iron ore. Great. Look, if I had a Farcaster, I'd go and grab the Pierce Shots, but I do not. I will take these bones, I may need them. If you're wondering why I didn't take the husk, it's really because I don't need them. I'm not going to be storing them in my box, I simply do not have the luxury of space in my box in order to be taking those sort of things. But yeah, not everyone values Old Mondstander. They may be fascinated in watching a bit of gameplay of it, but generally speaking, they're not passionate about it, and they're not going to take the time to play it themselves. So, I do enjoy the novelty of being able to present this game to you. I think it's interesting. So this is going to be presumably in the jungle. Which is one of my least favourite locations, just because of how much visual pollution is here. Lots of foliage, lots of flora. I will leave the tranking and capturing to AJ. Well, I don't necessarily have to, it depends. I mean, I can... Okay, he's taking the trap as well. I can take trank shots, actually, now that I think about it. So I'm not required to leave it entirely in his hands. In fact, it would be good to contribute trank shots. The strategy tends to be, at least in first gen, to trank the monster before you capture it, or before you trap the monster. Actually, I might get some honey as well, that is a good idea. Very good node. Oh. As you can see, when playing online, you can occasionally see the other hunters moving around very unnaturally. It's alright though, it usually won't affect online connectivity in any way. So I'm happy to accept that slight strangeness. I don't actually know what to press to do melee in this game, is it? Oh, it's up, okay. Alright, so we've got a Plesioth in here. Well, or the Plesioth is here. I'm speaking as if we've just happened upon the monster and we weren't really intending on hunting him. There just happens to be one here. Starting off with my normal shots. It's more or less better to use a shot type like this. Looked like he was about to go off the... whatever you call it, waterfall. I don't know if AJ actually has any sonic bombs. He's currently demonstrating the fact that you can, if you want to, just infinitely attempt to jump off the edge here, which is a funny little thing. Ow. Looks like we both took a hit though. I was just making sure that I hadn't, without actually paying attention, taken a sonic bomb from the box. Alright, so ideally, whenever the Plesioth chooses to target me, he's not going to be able to do much. He's just going to shoot one of these water beams at me. Or shoot one in the direction of where I was at the time that he decided to shoot it. makes it easier for AJ as well. As I mentioned before, there is a surprisingly high sensitivity to the aiming when you've got a bowgun. The PSP games has a very low sensitivity by comparison, and then they returned in later 3DS games to a high sensitivity. It was fairly normal, I would say. It was a sort of middle of the road on the Wii and Wii U. See that? Gyro? I don't think so. I don't think there's any gyro with the 3DS at all. I could be wrong, but maybe... No, as I recall, even the new 3DS XL didn't have gyro functionality. Of course, the Wii U gamepad did. Maybe it did. I'm not sure. To be fair, I'm not really an authority on what the 3DS can or can't do. I only actually used it to play Monster Hunter. And I guess Zelda A Link Between Worlds, but I didn't really play anything else on it. So maybe it did have gyro functionality. I really don't know. You are right that it has cameras on the back, so it should be able to recognize when it's moving. It does, okay. Oh, managed to prevent the Plesioth from leaving, which was good. Fucking hell. Just pressing the wrong buttons again, that's all. I don't particularly want to hit the head, that's not a weak point, not really. I think the main body is what I want to aim for. Although I can't remember the shot zones. But I don't think the head is a shot zone. I'd say the dorsal fin would be. Oh. I don't know if it's really worthwhile trying to aim for the dorsal fin. As you can see, when I mentioned that there tends to be a bit of visual pollution, as I call it. Or as I've chosen to call it. I could barely see the monster because of that plant that was in the way. Oh god. Oh, looks like we're going for the capture. Very nicely done. As you can see, we're not required to actually trank the monster before the trap goes down, but it is an option. It's something that you can do. To be completely honest with you, and I have no reservations about admitting this, I did forget that it was a capture quest, so I'm glad that AJ was keeping track. We did see the monster actually try to leave before, so I don't know if that was going to be a scenario where the monster would start limping. I didn't actually check to see. I had already cancelled out whatever animation would have taken place there by shooting the monster and reaching a damage threshold. So, yeah, I would have been very annoyed if we failed that quest. But I really would have only had myself to blame, given that I did completely forget that it was a capture quest. I'd say it's actually easier. Well, it depends how you look at it logically. You could either say that it's easier to forget that it's a capture quest in a game like this where there are less capture quests, or you could say that you're more likely to remember it's a capture quest because it's more of an event, given that they are less common. I don't know. This light shining on me is really annoying. I have to do something about it. It's just what happens when you have stupid fucking rolling blinds instead of a curtain. I hate that shit. Whoever thought that a rolling blind was better than a curtain needs a good smack. Had to deal with it in my last residence as well. It was never good enough. Because you always end up with a little gap between the edge of the window and the blind itself. Curtains, on the other hand, tend to be better. You can get it to bunch up on one end slightly and then ensure that no light comes through. The solution, of course, is for me to, because my window is actually facing the east, or sorry, the west. I don't know my east from west now. It's facing the west, so really I should be doing this in the morning, but looks like these people are ready to go. They've all got Rathalos sets. Makes me seem a lot less unique, doesn't it? Given that I was also using the Rathalos set, but it's just a sensible set to use. Rathalos is good for HRP, fairly easy to kill, and his armor set is good for general use in first generation Monster and probably in other games too. So it's just a set that makes sense to forge. So as unoriginal as it may appear, given that all of those guys are using it as well as me, it's a good choice. I don't think that... Do you know what? I'm just going to make sure that Wyvern Egg Hunt is not a key quest. There's a very good page called wiki.mholdschool.com, which is obviously the Monster Hunter Old School wiki. It's the same people who are running the server that we're playing on now. They've got a very good wiki for Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter G. And that is indeed what I use to get all of my information. Do not use the fucking fandom wiki. It's not a good source of information. I think the only game where it was a good source of information was Monster Hunter Tri, and that was probably still not ideal. There's a lot of misinformation on that website. Alright, so we want quests, town, 9 to 12. I'm just making sure. Yes, Wyvern Egg Hunt is not a key quest, thank God for that. There's quite a lot of key quests, but I'm almost certain that they've all been completed, so... Unfortunately, I'm not at the point anymore where I'd be able to remember what I had and hadn't done, but what I do remember is that I was quite sure in the past that I had done them all, so I'm just gonna have to go based on that. Let's try again with our food, shall we? I don't really want to do it though, AJ. I'm not in a position where I am so desperate to do all quests that I'm going to do a Wyvern Egg Hunt while live. But thank you for showing a willingness to do it, I suppose. Annoyingly, you do have to hit the bell, wait for the cat to come, choose your food, and then wait for it to arrive. It's all a bit slow, isn't it? So that's going to be a drink. I wonder if I get attack up. Do you reckon I'll get attack up if I do this? Let's do Khezu. I'm not really in a Diablos mood right now. I'm not feeling tenacious enough. What an invigorating flavor. Attack increased. Well, there you have it. Better than nothing, I suppose. Better to have an attack increase and then no boost to health and stamina than just having an ordinary meal with no effects whatsoever. If we do Khezu, I will probably also stick with this loadout, come to think of it. I really only have two weapons. I have what is now a fully upgraded sword and shield. I think it stays fully upgraded for the entirety of this game, and then I think in Monster Hunter G there is an option to upgrade it further. No, not that. This. So you can see there is no option to improve this. This is maximum. You're not told how much poison it has. You're not told how much anything has in this game. You're just told that it's got some. Yes, it does increase sequentially with each upgrade. Incrementally with each upgrade. But you're never going to know how much it is. I think it is actually shown on the wiki, so I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you how much it has. So Sword and Shields, we want... I don't even know what path it's on. Okay. So it's apparently 280 poison value, which is endgame, I guess. So it's called the Poison Battle Axe. It is actually rarity 3, although it looks... You can see the colour is still white, but there is no change in colour based on the rarity. So it's actually a rarity 3 weapon. It is considered... Yeah, I guess rarity 3 is still high rank. Is it high rank? I don't know. But it doesn't upgrade beyond this point. That's what I can tell you. Let me just see if there are... Oh no, there are rarity 4 weapons I can see. Yeah, all the way up to rarity 5. If you've got a fully upgraded Fatalis weapon, it is considered rarity 5. This is what I mean. So it all used to be very, very clearly laid out. Very formulaic in the later games. Within a certain bracket, you'd be able to determine what rarity would be appropriate for what rank. So rarities 1 to 3 would be for low rank. Rarities 4 to 6, well actually 4 to 7 would be high rank. And then 8 to 10 would be G rank. Well, in the earliest game, it really wasn't that clear cut. You could be using a rarity 3 weapon in the end game of high rank. That would be perfectly acceptable. So, at least I believe that to be the case. That seems to be what's going on. So as I say, it's a little bit more confusing. Not necessarily to a person who's playing this game for the first time, and only this game, but it is confusing to a person who maybe is basing their knowledge off later games, and then they have to reevaluate their understanding when they're playing a game like this. They have to try to unlearn what they've already learned. Which really is the case for any Monster Hunter game. If you're starting at 5th gen, you're going to have to unlearn certain things when you go back to 4th gen. It's just what it is. Two meats, I think double meat is just... I can't remember anymore. I don't know what it is in this game. I think in later games, double meat is just health, with no stamina increase, something like that. Maybe I will go Sword and Shield, even though Khezu is quite resistant to poison. I feel like using something that's not a gun, so... I'll pull this thing out. I will, of course, make other weapons. I'm getting to the point now where I really should be working on other weapons. But... not the battle helm, mate. Let me just change to the poison battle axe. And then get my Rathalos gear on. Here we go. Everything that I have here is in order of when it was forged. I could manually change it if I wanted to, but I'm not that organized. At least not right now. I may be more organized soon. Once I bring myself to organize things better, I will be better organized, but that time has yet to arrive. Yes, I did hear about Trump getting shot. As much as I want to say it's more like him getting shot at, he was technically hit, so he was shot. It's just, you know, there is an assumption of a much greater injury when you say someone has been shot versus shot at. Semantically, I think it's acceptable to say shot at if they have still technically been hit. I think. You know, if you've been grazed by a bullet, I think you can still say shot at. I think that's more or less acceptable. Oh, I just sold the iron ore. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that, just for the record. I was intending to sell my ammunition, ended up selling some iron ore. It wasn't much. I think it was literally 1 iron ore, which, you know, it's not going to end world... I was going to say end life as we know it. And then I misspoke instead. It's not going to end life as we know it, but it's still kind of annoying. I didn't mean to do that. Alrighty. Did I take potions though? I was a bit distracted. When I say potions, I of course mean first aid meds. You cannot have any more of this item. Well, far be it from me to take more than one map, really. It's rather selfish, actually. Might get some more honey. Let's see if I get better luck this time. AJ's using the Monoblos lance. Does that have fire element? I wonder if it does. It doesn't seem to. I didn't see any fire proc there when he made contact with the Vespoid, so I guess it's just raw damage, isn't it? Excuse me, I belched quite a lot there, internally. But hopefully it wasn't audible, despite that. Look, your concern is well-meaning and not entirely misplaced, P-Berry, but I'm not concerned about mentioning presidential candidates in the live stream. You can mention it, just don't turn it into a whole conversation. This isn't a political live stream in any way, but I don't want it to be so strict that we can't mention events, like world events, in passing. You know, a political candidate of any country getting shot at is probably worth some kind of mention. Potato is just a conversational type of person anyway. He'll mention anything. He comes on here and regularly mentions video games that I have never expressed a desire to play and never will play, but he mentions it conversationally anyway. Where has Kazu gone? But yeah, I'm not worried about mentioning things. There's nothing wrong with that. As I say, just don't turn it into a full-blown conversation. Quite rightly, it would probably also be surmised that a lot of people watch video gaming content to get away from things like that, so I don't intend to indulge anyone in political discussion. No, that's all good. As I say, it was well-intentioned. I can hear Kezu flapping his disgusting wings. I was going to say alluring, sarcastically, but that's only Red Kezu. Is he flying here? I mean, AJ might be correct and he's headed for Area 9, but I do know that he lands in 8 on occasion. I don't have any Psycho Serums on hand. Maybe it was a bad idea for us to hang around gathering honey. No, he did land here. So he can at times fly from 4, but he never goes straight to 10. I think he does when he's wounded. When he's weak, I think he does go straight to 10, but if he's just moving around the area, I think he usually, almost always in fact, makes a stop in Area 8, which is much better for us, means that he's not travelling as far, and we're also not in a cold location. I didn't actually bring any hot drinks, so that works very well. I'm going to try and ignore the ear prey. And hopefully they die just as part of the confrontation. One can only hope. So for example, I'll actually tell you, Potato, so if I accidentally press the triangle button, this happens. So, obviously the regular buttons, some of them are still used. Circle, if I press circle, I think that sheathes my weapon. Yes, so circle sheathes my weapon. Same as square, which is a bit weird, but you know, you can obviously tell that it's a flawed system if I've got 2 of the main buttons on the controller doing the same thing. It's not a well thought out system, or in any way something that should have stayed in the series, but you know, I've become used to it. It might be quieter though when I'm attacking with my controller. Just a little bit. Because I'm not technically pressing buttons. I am, of course, for a lot of my actions using L2 and R2 as well. Which is another, well, I'm not going to say second-gen feature, we'll say, sorry, we're not going to say that it's a first-gen feature, I'll instead say that it is a PlayStation 2 feature. Absolutely love the mobility of this weapon type. Always have, always will. I may actually have to make some more sword and shields now that I think about it. We'll see if there are any others worth making. I think the Rathalos sword and shield is worth making for sure. And you know what? I'm not entirely averse to the idea of hunting more Rathalos, even though I've already made the full set. I've hunted so much Rathalos in my time as a Monster Hunter player, and it was some time ago that I made that armor set. Well, I say that as if I don't have it currently equipped. The set that I have now was made long enough ago that I'm recharged now. I can hunt some more Rathalos, I don't mind. I'm going to be careful about aiming for the head, because I don't want to prevent AJ from aiming for it. I do see that he's now gone for the legs, possibly, out of concern for the fact that I might be tripping him up. I don't think I've been tripping him up, but I think he may be actively avoiding the head, or at least avoiding me, which may therefore lead to him avoiding the head because I'm there and may flinch him. And quite frankly, I'd rather that he deals the damage. Also, for the record, his weapon is fire damage. And I think he confirmed that in the chat and I wasn't paying attention. Oh. Would love to kill him here. It would save our time immensely. We would save a solid 1.5 to 2 minutes if we could kill him here. And aiming for the legs is really key when it comes to doing that. Well, I didn't follow my own advice. Or operate under my own wisdom. I just have to say, I'm looking at the playback on Twitch, and the colours just look so rich. I like the dark, almost swampy colours of this area. I do like the colours of this game. As I mentioned, it's a darker game visually. And I wouldn't quite refer to it as washed out. I'd say Monster Hunter Tri was a bit washed out, but that was because of the terrible bloom. And, yeah. I really like the way first-gen Monster Hunter looks. Or PS2 Monster Hunter, we'll say. May as well kill some Ea Prey while we're waiting for the Kezu to arrive. I don't know if it's worth carving them. Should I reserve a spot in my box? Really, he landed in 9? Why do you do this? I think he landed and he's now coming back to 10. Or not coming back to 10, but moving on to 10. That's the thing about Kezu. Sometimes he goes straight to a location, but other times he almost leapfrogs from area to area. I say leapfrog in the sense that he has to land in order to move on to the next area. What the fuck is he doing? I have auto tracker, right? Or no, I have detect, which is the first level of auto tracker, so I can see when he's flying and when he's not. Okay, so when he's on the ceiling, it actually gives me the same icon as a flying monster, interestingly. Which was a little bit misleading, but... So you'll see when he lands there, the icon changes to furled wings. And then they unfurl when he actually flies. But apparently when he's on the ceiling, that counts as flying, as far as that icon is concerned. Which, as I say, is very confusing. Have to keep my rations coming here. I know it looks like he was flying to Area 5, but that's just this game being a mess. Khezu is around the world, but as an actual monster. If you could crystallize the essence of around the world, Khezu is that crystallization. He just wanders around, and you just have to wait for him to stop doing that before you can hit him. Let's get ourselves back up to green sharpness, just so that you can be in no doubt. Yes, green sharpness is yellow sharpness, visually. You can see on the screen, this thing is glowing yellow. It's green, in actual fact. You can see the colour that they've chosen to go with on the sharpness meter. It's not the same as what you're seeing here. You can see that there's an almost texture glitch going on here. I believe it's all of PlayStation 2 Monster Hunter has this, or at least G and 1. Possibly Freedom 1? I don't think so, though. I have it in my head that I didn't first see it in this game, but maybe I did. But yeah, you can see not all of his body is being affected by the environmental conditions, which is to say the lighting of the area. There's parts of him that are still standard colour. I remember it being discussed in the past. I don't know if a fix ever was brought about. Yeah, I don't know when blue sharpness first came about. I think it was in Monster Hunter G, the first G-Rank game. I think white is in Monster Hunter G, but... yeah, and then white sharpness remained the maximum until 2008, with Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. So yeah, as far as a multiplier is concerned, green sharpness is your endgame multiplier for Monster Hunter 1. Endgame sharpness multiplier. So if you put that in context, it's perfectly reasonable, therefore, to have a yellow sharpness weapon. This is why I say you have to almost unlearn the norms that have been established in later games when you go back to Monster Hunter 1. But it's good, it's grounding, it gives you a wider understanding and appreciation for the series when you take the time to go back to the very first game. You don't have to like it. In fact, you don't even have to say that it's good. You don't even have to sit there and say, oh, I recognize the positives of this game, but I just can't appreciate it. It's up to you. Like, I personally think that it's excellent in a lot of ways. I think a lot of very key features of Monster Hunter on a conceptual level were done to perfection here in this game. Something about the progression just feels meaningful. And I also think that they managed to get a lot of things right. And the problem is, though, they fucked up a lot of things as well. This does almost feel like a beta version of Monster Hunter. It feels like a beta version of Monster Hunter Freedom 1. Don't know what we will do next. We could do Rathian, just for fun. I mean, obviously we do want to aim for HRP, which has been steadily increasing. What are we at now? 21,33,5. 21,335, how about that? I think I can't remember what I started at, but it was 20,000 and something. About, well, I might actually see if there's anything that I can forge at the moment, or anything that's going to show me that it is forgeable. I don't like that word, forgeable. Sounds awful. Let's create. Anything we want to bother with. Usually I take a little bit more of an informed approach than this. I'm not just going to go around finding something that may or may not be good and then forge that. I'd actually look through a list of weapons and aim to forge something that's actually good, compared with other weapons that I can choose from. But something that you never see people use in this game, actually, is the hammer. Plenty of lance use. Lance is actually the favourite of Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter G because of headlocking. But I don't know if I'm actually going to take time to use it. At least not yet. Aqua Spear, is that? Oh, water. I probably should aim to make that. Aqua Spear is likely to be something that's worth making. I need some Cephalos fins, though. Let me actually have a look. I bet there... this is the thing, like, if I want to use a water lance, I'm not going to have much to actually choose from, so this is probably what I want to make. Yeah, I might make the Aqua Spear. Because I'm going through the other lances in the game, and it's not looking worthwhile. I mean, I could always change it to Monster Hunter G and see what weapons I can continue upgrading in Monster Hunter G. But that almost takes the fun out of it, doesn't it? You can actually make the gun lance prototype here in the first Monster Hunter game. I wasn't aware of that. So it's actually really cool that before the gun lance actually existed, you could make a weapon that was literally a gun lance, but it was a lance. So it predates the existence of the weapon type, the gun lance prototype. I really like that. I probably knew that in the past, it's just I'm now relearning it as I look through all the weapons. How does that actually compare stats-wise to the Rathalos lance? I don't know where it is, even. The plunger can actually be made in this game. The vacuum striker. You know the fucking water element plunger? I knew that was a first-gen weapon. I didn't know it was a Monster Hunter 1 weapon. That's quite cool. I'm actually not seeing the Rathalos lance even showing up. So it may not be in Monster Hunter 1. It might be a Monster Hunter G thing. So if you want to make a fire lance in this game, it turns out that you're actually making the gun lance prototype. That's it. I actually think that's pretty cool. And it makes sense if you think about it. They're really trying to bring home the fact that this is an almost incendiary lance. Something that will shoot at the monster, but it sort of manifests itself as a fire weapon instead of actually shooting. Well, I can imagine, AJ. I can imagine someone maxing out all of the rust weapons in this game, because that's definitely the sort of thing that someone who's really dedicated to PS2 first-gen Monster Hunter would do. I can imagine that. Okay, let's do some Cephadrome, shall we? Unless that's really disagreeable and you don't want to do that. But I'd like to make the Aqua Spear. Monsters that I'd use it on would probably be Rathalos, for example. Because I'm assuming water is the primary weakness of Rathalos in this game. Yeah, I'll keep with this sword and shield. I may as well eat. I actually don't know how many earth crystals you can stack in this game. Well, I'd wait to Monster Hunter G before making those weapons. I'd imagine there's probably easier ways to get Earth Crystals in that game. Or maybe there aren't. It's possible. Okay. Let me see if I've got Cephadrome. I do not. Do you have Cephadrome? If neither of us have Cephadrome, we can do Plesioth instead, because I think I'm going to need some more... Oh, looks like you might have it. Because for the next upgrade, I think I may need some more Plesioth materials, although I haven't checked to see if I need more. I'm just going based off a balance of probabilities. In that I most likely do need more. As for Sonic Bombs, I hope you've got some. I'm going to check to see if I have any. I don't think I do. But if I do, I'm going to bring them. Because I do want to contribute to the hunt, at least in some way. If I don't bring them, then I won't really be contributing very well. I've got 9 Sonic Bombs. I'll bring those, hey? Oh, there are some in the supply box? Okay, in that case, I'll put away some of what I've got. Oh god. Yes, I'd like to take out a limited number, please. I'll take 3. And then I'll take a stack out of the box. Which I think will give me 5. Is it 2 per stack in the box? I don't remember what they give you. Are you going to use small bombs to bomb him out? I guess that makes sense. Just set up a bomb in his path and detonate it. It's 3 per stack. Okay. It's a bit off-putting, I would imagine, for some of you, that there is no actual animation to show that the loading screen is in the process of loading anything. Aha. So the weird thing about the land shark, and I don't know why this is, this quest specifically does not take you to camp automatically. This is a quest that will cause all hunters to be situated somewhere at random on the map. And I have no idea why this specific quest does it. Do you know what? It could be a glitch. It's technically possible that it's a glitch. Because it's fucking Capcom, right? So the max number of hunters that can join a quest is still 4, but obviously you can have as many as 10 in one location. I did manage to attack him though, like physically hit him. I'm happy to use one of my Sonic Bombs, just while I'm waiting for AJ to get here. Have to situate myself in his path in order to do that. Does he cut down through this way? I think he does. Can you move, please? Alright, so I'm hoping for a poison sooner rather than later. Get away from this tail. You can see the benefits of the mobility of this weapon type. The way that I could just put some distance between myself and the monster in case he did a hip check, which he did, and then I was able to close the distance immediately. Wasn't able to get my poison, unfortunately. was a bit distracted by my playback. My apologies for not paying attention. We have our poison. So it should only be a short while longer before this monster is dead. Or until this monster is dead. So again, just as a recap, we are hunting this monster so that I can actually make a water lance. There is only one water lance in the game if you don't include the fucking toilet plunger, which is a lovely lance in many ways, but I don't think it's worth making. It doesn't have much raw damage. It's in the 100s, okay? And I understand that this is inflated raw, but seriously, it's in the 100s, so... Seriously, I'm trying to fucking sharpen. That is not an unreasonable expectation that I may be able to successfully sharpen. So please allow me to do that. There we go. I managed to actually knock him out. Good bomb placement, though. Another knockdown. Seems that the poison has worn off, so hopefully we'll be able to apply another one before too long. There we go. Only barely finished the sentence before poison was reapplied. I could actually see his throat vibrating, which was lovely. It was a quivering that I could see. Oh, I'm the blue player. I was looking at the red player icon thinking it was me. I'm going the wrong fucking way. You'd think I'd be able to work these things out faster. So the Cephalos is, sorry, the Cephadrome is sleeping. So that means he's almost dead. Not that I really needed to add that point. But it is worth mentioning conversationally. Few more hits to go. Goodbye. I'll get started with my carving. So it is Cephalos' fin that I need. I think I've already got what I need. I think I needed 3 and I had 1. Hopefully, even if I'm incorrect about that, I will get what I need. You said there are 10 cats in this room, so 3. Oh, you are right. There are a lot of cats in here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. About 10 cats. Well, if you've ever heard someone mention how many small monsters can be in one area in a first-gen game, check it out. I would, however, rather, like, out of 10 monsters, 5 of them be felines than, I don't know, 10 Apsaros. That I can seriously live without. Now, again, I'm really, really hopeful that I was correct about the fins that I needed, because I did only get 2. If I need more than 2, then Frustratingly, we will have to do another one of those. Or we may have to do another one of those anyway to do our next upgrade. But surprisingly, for the only water lance in the game, it's very easy to forge. So, the forge materials required are... fucking hell. What are you doing? You know, all the praises that I was singing about this website now must be swiftly revoked. This is just... oh no. That has got me so annoyed that I'm not even going to comment on it. So, anyway, I will show you what's needed. It's not much. Fairly easy to forge. I really don't know what reference you're making, Yells, but I'm sure that it is hilarious. Alright, weapon create. Fuck. No, not the lullaby spear. We want the aqua spear. I was wrong. I needed 4, not 3. That means we're doing another one. Maybe I stopped receiving fins because I said verbally that I didn't need any more and the game is listening to me. Trying to be accommodating by not giving me things that I don't need. Well, it turns out I was wrong. And of course I say that jokingly. Monster Hunter 1 would never be accommodating to me. No, I'm not going to eat. Couldn't be bothered. Yes, I know that you mean eat the cats, but I don't know what you mean by, like, xiaopao. I don't know what that is. Alright, one more of these. I think I only ended up using one of my sonic bombs. There are no sonic bombs in the box. I don't mind using a sonic bomb. Like one that I have. The ones that I've accumulated were not combined for. I just saved them from quests that provided them in the box. So, do you mean like a skewered dumpling? So you wanted me to eat the cats like dumplings, so... Do you mean like roll them up in a ball and eat them like a dumpling? Or do you want me to skewer them like the Japanese do it? Like skewered dango? Or like what? Are cats a common ingredient in dumplings across Asia? I don't know. I do not have answers for these questions that are inevitably being asked. Oh, they are dumplings that allegedly have cat meat. Okay. I could see the attempt at bombing there. AJ, I will bomb this time on it. Looks like you're going to go for it. Okay. No, it looks like that'll be successful. Very good. Well, it is admittedly easier to do that than waste sonic bombs. You can just buy small barrel bombs. Requires slightly better timing, but only slightly. Which is to suggest that, really, it's not hard to time the small barrel bombs. As long as you know the path that he's taking, it's actually fairly simple. Oh. Might sonic bomb that one. I'm pressing the wrong buttons again. I'm just gonna fucking sonic bomb him. He's being annoying. I'll probably leave it to like 1 sonic bomb per hunt. Unless I used 2 in the last hunt and I just can't remember. Actually, no, I did bring 3 originally, didn't I? So that means we are properly at 1 sonic bomb per hunt. I've got to keep away from that upswing. Fuck. Evading that upswing caused me to get hit, but anyway. Oops. That was, That was almost well recorded, except for the fact that the map was covering AJ and the monster's head when he stood directly in front of the monster and took a sandblast to the face. Ooh. So in other words, it could have been better captured than it was. Aha. I'll attack your big floppy neck. I'm getting much better hit stun. Or sorry, hit lag. You can probably... No, you wouldn't use hit stun, would you? It's just hit lag. Oh, yes. That is a much better part of the body to attack. I usually attack the legs just so that we can prolong the duration of the monster being out of the sand, but... yeah, if you can hit that neck, you very well should. Oh, I fucking... Did you see when I actually stopped running there? That was caused by me pressing the square button. But instead of actually throwing the goddamn Sonic Bomb, it just caused me to stop moving, which is honestly unhelpful. Hopefully AJ can get a bomb down. I promise this won't be the last time that I actually rely on him solely to do that. Although I am making up for it by using Sonic Bombs myself, but... at least this time around. Right. What? Here we go. Oh, he does actually stop in front of it. It's interesting. Ugh. I will persist with yellow sharpness briefly. Yeah. I'm down to my last whetstone. I will try to remember to actually replenish them when I return next time. I do keep forgetting. Which is unconscionable. Like, as a Blade Master, you can't be forgetting about your whetstones. Oh. Alright, it's all you now, AJ. I don't have any more Sonic Bombs. In the meantime, I'll get another cider. Oh, we may not need that. It looks like he's gone to his weak area. Yeah, the tail might be a good weak spot. If it is in Freedom 1, then it's almost certainly the same in this game. As far as I'm aware, I don't think they changed any hit zones between Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter Freedom 1. Although, I could be wrong. I say that because that's what makes logical sense to me. And then I remembered that Capcom are illogical. So do you mean the elemental damage of weapons, or elemental weak points on monsters? G nerfed element, okay. Huh. That's a shame. Stagger values as well, okay. So when you say stagger values, is it harder to headlock a monster in G versus 1? Must be, right? Because that would have been abused almost immediately in the Japanese version, I'm sure. Like among the Japanese players. I actually had a feeling that it had been carried over. Also into G. Where you could headlock very easily. But no, it seems that they fixed it immediately. Literally the next iteration of the game made it so that it was not so easy to headlock monsters, which is a good thing. Shows that Capcom did have their finger to the pulse of how people were abusing certain mistakes that were made. Which in a way actually makes this game more unique. If Monster Hunter G were literally just a G-rank version of 1, there wouldn't be much of a reason to play this game. The more changes that you can get from each iteration to the next, the more worthwhile it is to return to the previous game, because then you're going to have a slightly more unique experience, or a slightly different experience compared to the G-rank version. So in the case of this game, you will be able to abuse that. Sort of like adrenaline and heroic stacking in Freedom 2 versus Freedom Unite. Although I do hesitate to make that comparison, or provide that example, because there are many more differences to Freedom 2 versus Freedom Unite that are also significant. But I feel like that would be the closest example to what I just mentioned regarding headlocking in this game being nerfed in G. Z wants to play. He wants to do some gathering quest. He's just sitting there with it hanging above his head. So, you do still increase your hunter rank by the traditional way, which is doing all key quests, clearing an urgent quest, and then progressing. But there are also ranks that exist in between that you have to clear by just gaining experience points. It's HRP. So you can see that, I don't know if you saw it at the end of the previous quest or in any of the other quests, but I was getting, experience points. I got about 280, I think, from that last quest. So you can see HRP is positioned below HR. When it says next at 2500 in parentheses, that's saying that is the threshold needed to reach 12. Now, I will hit 12 when I reach that, because that's not an HR that requires an urgent to be cleared in order to reach it. So, when I hit 13, that will actually require an urgent quest to be completed. I don't know if that was a good explanation, I don't know, it's... Basically, you've got multiple hunter ranks that you need to progress through for each star level. But each star level will need an urgent quest. And it's really only relevant to complete the urgent quest, or it's only required to complete the urgent quest when you get to that last hunter rank of the star level. So that's how it works. Alright, so I should be able to, well, I don't know what sort of money I'm sitting on. What have I got? I've got 18,421 Zenny, which probably is not going to be enough to fully upgrade this weapon, but I should be able to forge it. Yeah, so Aquaspear is only going to set me back 3,030 Zenny, which is good. Now, when it's highlighted in orange, or brown, I'm going to say orange, it means that you have the materials, but you don't have them in your inventory. So I need to go and move everything that's sitting in parentheses there into the first number. So that first number, well, I'm actually going to say it in order. N10 has joined. This is excellent. We now have a third hunter to give us a hand. So it goes inventory, box, requirement. That's what those numbers represent. So you can see in my inventory, I have 1 Cephalus fin, but I have 3 in my box, so I'll just have to move those over. Basically, the first number has to either match or be greater than the requirement, the last number. So I'll move 5 Macrolite ore over, 3 Cephalus fins, and 7 Plesioth. No, I don't need that many. Just need the 2 Plesioth fins. Alrighty. Let's do that now. So, Plesioth fin, here we go, only 2 are needed. Hopefully I've actually got enough for the full upgrade, in terms of Plesioth. Glad I haven't been selling Plesioth materials for money or anything. Then we're also getting Cephalus fins, wherever they may be. I don't remember what colour they are. Here we go. So we want all of those. And then, I think it was 5 Macrolite ore, right? wherever that might be. Hopefully I'm remembering that correctly. I keep going to improve. Now you can see it's gone to white. So grayed out means cannot be forged, orange means can be, but it's not currently in your inventory, and then white means that it is available to forge. Let's do it. Aqua Spear. It is currently usable. It doesn't look all that usable if you're used to stronger weapons, but this is still entirely appropriate for this game. So to improve this weapon, what do I need? Well, the demon drug shouldn't be too hard, but I do need 2 more Cephalos fins, so I think we're going to do that. We're going to do a little bit more Cephalos, or Cephadrome I should say. Hopefully 1 more. I'm really glad, really pleased that I have all the Plesioth fins that I need. Well, we can actually do Gravios if you'd like. That way I can make use of this lance a little bit before upgrading it to the next level. So this will be my first time using lance in this game, which I'm looking forward to. Oh, you don't have Cephalos anymore. Or Cephadrome. We're in the habit of saying Cephalos now. Let's do Gravios. It looks like the HR... Wasn't that guy like HR3? Can he join a 4-star quest? That's crazy. This is 4-star, isn't it? Quest detail. It's 3-star. Okay. Well, and he's what? HR3? Okay. At least he'll get some HRP out of it. Now, I didn't purchase potions, but I'll be able to get some... Oh, you know what I did forget to do? I forgot to get whetstones. I was a bit distracted by forging things. Alright, so anything low rank he can join, which is a good thing. Come on. Almost thought that we were having a connection issue though. I will definitely bring some mini whetstones because I do not have any whetstones at all. Bad. Hurry up. I'm happy for him to take 2 stacks of first aid meds. He's definitely in greater need of it than me. But I'm certainly not going to let him take any more mini whetstones. These are essential to my success. Alright. What the hell are we fighting? Gravios, so he should be in Area 9. I want to make it very clear that I've not memorized the area numbers for almost any of the maps in Monster Hunter. So I do not typically mention area number. Oh, well that's a shame. Fortunately, we're not doing a quest for him, so it's not an inconvenience for us that he's disconnected, but it's unfortunate for him, but yeah, at least we're not completely wasting our time by doing a quest for someone who can no longer benefit from it. Jesus. You're a rather large creature. Okay, so how do I thrust up? Is it to the left? Left? No, how do I thrust up? Up, you fuck. Down. Aha, so the only way to thrust up is to hit down. Okay. So anything else is going to be straight. Okay. Oh, Jesus. It's just interesting. So up is considered to be the standard thrust. Oh, this is great. If you didn't have motion sickness already, you probably have it now. Fucking hell, what an awful position for the camera to be in. Now obviously, my suggestion that you would have motion sickness is because I was having all sorts of wall recovery issues there. Oh my god. I was able to successfully block that, thankfully. I'm not entirely sure what I'm bouncing off and what I'm not. I thought I was getting the stomach, but then I wasn't. God. So you can see there's a fine line between hitting the stomach and then hitting the anus. Apparently I bounce off the anus, or we could say the buttocks. The anal opening. How about that? So we bounce off the anal opening, but not off the stomach. But it's not entirely clear where the stomach ends and the anal opening begins. I did actually have my shield raised in the direction of the roaring monster. I don't really know how that could have possibly failed to block it, but whatever. I got hit almost immediately anyway. What I was trying to explain before was that down is basically your standard attack for Blademaster weapons, as I surmised, based on using the sword and shield, and yet the standard attack for the lance in this game must therefore be, based on that logic, the upwards thrust. Now I think it is technically slightly higher motion value, but yeah, interesting that that's the default. And if you want to do a straight thrust, you have to do either left or right on the analog stick. He is annihilating my stamina as we speak. Oh, fuck. Yeah, maybe. Maybe some of the pixels of his legs are inside his stomach. That is possible. Or it's his anal opening, which has a separate resistance. You can choose to take any position you like. Either of those two. It has to be one of those two. Either it's part of his leg, which is not visible, or it's his anal opening. Ugh. The camera woes are beginning to weigh on me. I seem to remember having some sort of very heated discussion with Quantized Anson. I believe it was him. I don't think I would misremember that. I think it was him. And he was insisting, absolutely insisting, that the camera in Freedom 1 was considerably worse than Monster Hunter 1. And I just said to him, you're fucking wrong. Like, I'm sorry. With the greatest respect, you're wrong. Like, it's not considerably worse. And he was asserting quite aggressively, in his own way. Like, no, it's definitely fine. It's perfectly fine in Monster Hunter 1. And I'm just like, it's not. Like, it's not. My experience tells me that it's not just this. It's not like the same, it's worse. It's not better. And camera issues are not non-existent. They are worse than Freedom 1. If it wasn't Anson, then I apologize for misremembering, but I'm quite sure it was him. It was just, fucking hell. I think it's considerably worse. The degree to which that it tries to correct the position of the camera is much more violent in Monster Hunter 1. I actually discovered it immediately when I played Monster Hunter 1, coming into the Forest and Hills camp. There's a particular spot in the Forest and Hill camp that very aggressively corrects the position of your camera. And it wasn't actually like that in Freedom 1. And if it was like that, it was much less aggressive. But yeah, Monster Hunter 1 is horrific when it comes to wall recovery and camera correction, etc. Yeah, the conversation didn't go on for very long because it was a case of he says black, I say white, and there was nothing to say because the reality is the reality. There was no real... It wasn't really a point that could be contested. It was just, you know, sort of a factual position, but anyway. Yeah, that's what was happening earlier on in this hunt, AJ. I deliberately kept my character in a position deliberately just to make everyone motion sick, to have the camera shake violently. That was rough. Let's try and do Cephadrome. I should only need to do, well, hopefully only one Cephadrome in order to fully upgrade this lance. I'm hoping so. Okay, I've got it. So, I'll change weapons. Of course, if you've got it, you're free to post it. If you don't, fear not, for I have it. Hamara says hello. I will greet you, but unfortunately we don't have a space for you to join. Yes, we do want that. I'm excited to almost have my next fully upgraded weapon. It was, you know, for all the things that take a lot of time in this game, it seems that forging some weapons is actually very quickly taken care of. Sorry, Hamara. I don't really know how to say your name, it's rather awkward. There are too many consonants in it. Or at least starting with 2 consonants can be confusing. But yes, despite being HR 11, I am doing the Land Shark, and it's purely to forge a weapon. And a particularly good one at that. I'd say a solid water lance is valuable in this game. It could obviously be argued that you're better off using the best raw lance possible, but where's the fun in that? Apparently, Element was actually nerfed in Monster Hunter G, according to AJ, so obviously there's some benefit to using Element, so... I'm just going to call this person Mara. I'm not going to refer to them as Hamara. That sounded rather Hebrew or Arabic. Khmara. Khmara. I don't know. I could be wrong. I just know that in that part of the world there's a lot of going on. Sorry if that came across as culturally insensitive, it's just true. If you've got a sore throat over there, good luck. Seriously. The H is silent. Well, I hoped so. I hoped so. Otherwise it's too hard to say. Oh wait, sorry, I didn't actually see who the 4th person was, if it... The A's are silent too. Great. Easiest name to pronounce. I ideally hope, and this would be my I'm so sorry. I genuinely feel awful that we left that other guy behind. This only happens when I'm busy doing a live stream and I'm not really paying attention to everything that's going on. We did actually leave that other guy behind. He was the one who should have joined this quest because he was the one who was playing with us before. So, you know, more or less, he had a right to that spot. And unfortunately, I departed without paying attention, so I'm going to apologize to him when we get back. Because that's my fault for not paying attention. You know, that's the sort of thing that drives me fucking mental when I'm on the receiving end of it. And it frustrates me when I'm not present mentally enough to pay attention to that. And it's only when I'm doing a live stream I have to mention, because I'm usually distracted by other things going on. But it is important. This... I'm just going to call them M. So, because silent H and silent A, so, this person shouldn't have joined this quest. And I only have myself to blame. Oh, he had a bad connection, that's right, sorry. Just goes to show how little I'm paying attention. That's right, he did disconnect in that hunt, so it's A-okay. Now, where is this fucking monster? I forgot to bring bombs. I am just not paying attention to this hunt at all. I'm not paying attention to anything. I'm severely distracted by whatever else is going on, except for the hunting process. And, yes, I failed to bring bombs. I failed to properly account for who's in the quest and who's not. And... yeah, hopefully we can still successfully complete this hunt. I also didn't bring cool drinks, and if they were in the box, I didn't take any. So this is possibly the greatest... you know, I'm really looking like a right flump right now, as they would say in the UK. So let me just take myself back to the camp and hope that there are some fucking cool drinks in there. If there are not, then I'm just going to have to heal myself for the whole duration of the hunt. Thank God for that. There is one cool drink. That doesn't, however, solve my problem. Unless there were bombs in there and I missed them too. I'd be so annoyed. I almost feel like I did see some small barrel bombs in there, but still didn't take them. Whatever. That's alright. I can see that N10's got the Kirin Sword and Shield, which is quite an impressive piece of kit. Oh god. AJ, I'm not sure what's going on with this upswinging of yours, but I think the only time that I ever endorsed, or rather failed to condemn the use of upswinging in Monster Hunter was in Freedom 1, where the upswing was less likely to be negatively affected by input detection issues, which was true. But anyway, you're trying to hit the tail, okay. Well, I have barely contributed to this fight, which feels a little bit ridiculous because it is meant to be for my sake, but again, I didn't have a cool drink, so that's my fault. I'm slowly but surely making my way there, but I suspect that he will die almost before I can make contact. Yep. Although that was mainly because he instant transmissioned over to my phone has 5% battery because I forgot to charge it overnight. What am I getting here? So I don't have any fins. Fuck. Please carve one. I didn't carve any fins. I need 2. I was getting plenty of them before. I suspect that I won't get one in the rewards. Ugh. So yeah, the face is not a weak point, but the neck is very much a weak point. Look at that. Wow. Well, look, all I can tell you, it's been very strange. There's been discussions recently on the Hunsterverse Freedom 1 chat about the effectiveness of that patch in Monster Hunter Freedom 1 that reduces the input detection issues. AJ's position is that it depends on how you choose to press the buttons. He says that if you hold the buttons down, there are no input detection issues. Well, be that as it may, the way that I play the game, which incidentally does not involve holding down the buttons for some extended duration, when I have that patch enabled, playing the US and European versions of the game feels like I'm playing the Japanese version of the game. In other words, no noticeable input detection whatsoever. So you've got Decker, who claims that it doesn't work at all, and asserts that anyone who says that it does work is full of shit. But, you know, he's not exactly the sharpest tool in the toolbox. And then you've got AJ, who suggests that there's no issue in the first place, Well, I don't think that's what he says. That's probably not fair. But he approaches it from a perspective of, well, just change how you play, and it's fine. But in my case, it really was just a situation where, to get around it, I would play the Japanese version. And then I tested out the patch on the European and US versions, and it felt very, very comfortable. Literally, I was trying to recreate a scenario where I was putting something in, like, there would be an input on my controller and then the character would not respond appropriately, but it wouldn't happen. It was clean and it was accurate. So, as far as I'm concerned, the patch works very well. And it works as intended, but there seems to be some disagreement with that. But to be honest, that conversation is irrelevant to me, because for me it's perfectly resolved. The situation that was previously very poor and in need of redress has now been dealt with by that patch. I can now play very, very comfortably on the US version without any input detection that I can notice, so... Well, not for me, AJ. I mean, maybe there is an input detection issue in Monster Hunter Portable, but it's far, far less noticeable as compared to... Well, I don't know, like... Yeah, I suppose occasionally there can be input detection issues on certain combos in Portable, but it's much, much reduced from the other versions. Anyway, all I can say is that that patch did its job. Very much improved the gaming experience for me, playing the non-Japanese versions. If anyone has the Landshark, if you could post that, I'd be very appreciative. I really should have what I need, but I don't. As annoying as that is, I just have to accept it. Where did I get this flame sack? Did I accidentally take that out of my box? We haven't fought anything that drops a flame sack. At least I don't believe so. Oh no, I probably... I got it from Gravios. That's what I... That's where I got it from. N10, I think, has posted what we need. I'm actually going to bring some bombs this time. There we go, small barrel bomb. I may as well bring 10. Not too costly. I think you might be behind on the stream, Yells. I worked out almost immediately that it was Gravios. Alright. I got some sort of message. Okay. Getting really sick of this fucking light shining through. Stupid. Because you can see there's this light on this side of my body and it's just so frustrating. If I just had a curtain there, it would be fine. Why do people have these stupid blinds that roll down? They're ridiculous. They are so ridiculous because they don't fucking block all the light out. Now, I may not always want all of the light blocked out, but give me the choice, you know. Don't install some ridiculous apparatus that doesn't actually block all the light out in the event that I want it all blocked out. Like this situation where I'm recording, and I instead have to endure this light shining on my right shoulder, which probably looks more like my left shoulder because the view is flipped. But anyway, it's ridiculous. Just having a mini rant about it, excuse me. So yeah, I assume that the main body is the weak point of this monster. So that would include the neck, the tail, and anything that's not the legs or the wings. It'd be nice if we could one-zone him this time. It may actually be possible because I'm contributing my poison damage and then obviously my raw damage to this fight. Excellent team though. Probably a bit overkill for this quest. We'll definitely do some Rathalos for... I've decided that's what their name is. Oh, another instant transmission and another knockdown. I'll take what I can get, as long as the monster dies in short order. And another instant transmission. Who's hosting this? God. And how does hosting work in this game? Is it dependent upon the person who posted the quest, or is it based on who entered the area first? I must confess that I do not know how it works in PS2 Monster Hunter. What I can say is that I was surprised by how many Monster Hunter games were affected by, you know, first person who joins the area becomes the host. You know, oh, hey, check that out. I look normal again. I don't have fucking light shining on my shoulder. How good is that? Feels good. Now I actually look like I'm well presented. But yeah, I always thought that all games 3rd gen and beyond didn't have that system where... I mean, in the past, that's what I thought. That if you posted the quest, you were the host. But no, it depends on the game. How did I end up getting here first? What the fuck? Alright. Yeah, there is server delay, I think. But it used to be really, really bad. Back when they first opened these servers, if you had someone in the same room as you, they would be fucking sliding all over the place. You actually wouldn't be able to see them walk, I don't think. I think they were just sliding around. That was what actually stopped me from playing online in this game with that server, or I should say this server. Initially, it was because they hadn't actually fixed the terrible connection between hunters. It was very rough at first, but they improved it over time. And once it was improved, I came in. And I've been having fun ever since. And the sun returns. I don't know what that was, actually. Me pretending to be blinded by light, I guess. Is saying random things in the chat now. Random shoutouts. Get rewards. This is great. Do you recall how easily I was getting fins before? Now that I only need 2, we did a quest where I got 0, and then another quest where I got 1. So, they're really fucking dragging it out. Absolutely. There is a desire sensor. It cannot be ignored. The desire sensor is real. It is incontrovertible. I say we do a Rathalos for this guy. I think he wanted to do, or she, God knows. I think Capture Rathalos was the request, so we can see if there is a Capture Rathalos quest. I've got it actually. Let's do it. I can see is checking to see if it can be posted. Fear not, person, for I am accommodating you. Oh, it looks like we've both bloody got it. But yes, it is in recognition of the fact that you've joined us on this quest repeatedly. And, I mean, as for why it has to be Capture a Rathalos, I don't know. I just hope that we're not too effective to accidentally kill the monster. Well, too effective and then accidentally kill the monster. If we were truly effective, I'd say we'd be avoiding that scenario, but... Anyway. AJ suspects that this person wants to get some wings. I don't believe they can be acquired. I think... Which I think AJ is about to explain, but I don't think you can get wings. Am I right in saying that? Or the event gives them. Yeah, I seem to remember that. Okay. Oh no, I think you can get them, it's just it's extremely hard, but the event quest I think is both Rathalos and Rathian. Yeah, is it the current event? No. Well, that's not helpful. Well, do we want to do this? It's so hard to get wings otherwise. Yeah, so it's Rathian and Rathalos event quest, it's not the current event, so... I was very fortunate in that when I needed the wings, that was the event quest. Okay, apparently capture is really bad odds. Let's not do it then, because that just means more work for us. We may as well just do the standard Rathalos as our second best option. I'm sure there must be a Hunter Rathalos. Does anyone have it? We'll just do the hunt. No, this was not an invitation to do whatever you... Well, I suppose it was an invitation for you to do whatever you wanted. Let's just do another... Let's do another Cephadrome. If you don't even want to do Rathalos at this point, then let's just do fucking Cephadrome. If anyone has Cephadrome, please post it. I don't have it. My phone is dead, so I now need to use the pop-out chat here on my PC. Alright, that's fine. It's sort of better that way, easier to keep track of. Well, hopefully N10's got him. I'm saying one more Cephadrome. I'm hoping that is going to be the one where I get the fucking fin that I need. Hopefully I'll be able to get a demon drug. Can't remember exactly what's needed for it. I think pale extract is required at some point. Oh, although I could even be wrong about that. I don't remember. But I should be able to get it. Oh, you can give me one. Okay. I'll see if I can combine for it first, and then if I really can't combine for it, I will accept your offer. Thanks, AJ. Power seeds are hard to come by. Okay. So I guess they can't be purchased then, because that's what I would have done. I wouldn't have, you know, assumed that I had one and then, on top of that, gone out and gathered one. I would have checked to see if I could purchase one, but I'm guessing that if they're hard to come by, you can't purchase them, so... There you have it. Alright. I will take a demon drug from you then. Thank you very much. I'll take some sonic bombs. First come, first serve as far as I'm concerned. When it comes to that. I've used a few, so I think I deserve some. And incidentally, it is 2 per stack, not 3 per stack. Unless you were talking about how they are stacked in the box, which is also untrue. Yeah, the quest gives you 2 rather than 3. Because I remember putting 3 in my inventory with the expectation that I would have 5, and then you said it was 2 per stack, but no, it is actually 2. Sorry, I'm being a bit lazy. Actually using L1 to reposition my camera, which I almost never do, it's just my finger hurts a little bit at the moment. I think I somewhat recently mentioned that I had a semi-permanent to an actual permanent injury on my middle finger on my left hand, and I think it's going to prevent me from actually playing guitar, which is an unfortunate thing. I don't play guitar, but I would like to learn. But my finger really hurts after playing for a short time last night, so... yeah, I might have to learn how to play guitar with my left hand. Not looking forward to that, but... yeah. It is what it is. As a result of that, I'm not really positioning my hand in such a way as to do the claw. Which is, well, I am now. Like, as we speak, I'm doing it, but... this requires me to move my hand a little bit more than I'd like to. Oh. Very good. Got the one zone kill. That's what we need. Saves us a lot of time. And there's my last Cephalos fin. So I was not actually talking out of my arse. This is the last Cephadrome that we're having to kill. And I should have enough Zenny to fully upgrade the lance, so... I will now have another fully upgraded weapon, which will be the Aqua Spear, or whatever the fuck it's called when you fully upgrade it. Aqua Spear Plus is what it will be called. Well, thank you for that. What the hell are you using? That's a truly ugly lance, and I don't say that as any sort of criticism intent, but that is an ugly lance. Look at it. Well, I can't see it now. The world's ending, but yeah, really. Yeah, well, that explains the redness of it. But good God. I don't think that exists in later games. And possibly for good reason. I think the word fugly has to be dug back up and revived in order to refer to that weapon appropriately. It's fugly. You can see I haven't purchased much monster info. You can see most of it is available to buy. I really don't have any interest in the monster info in this game, and I will tell you why. It does not tell you how many of those monsters you have slain when you purchase the info, so the hell am I going to do with it? No, it is apparently called the Ogre Tusk. The Ear Prey Lance? Oh, apparently I don't have what I need. What the hell do I need then? Oh, I need the demon drug. AJ, whenever you are ready, I will take that demon drug from you that you offered me before. I can see you've gone into the blacksmith. Are we going to play a game of tag? I'm now in the blacksmith. And I will stay here. But yes, I do appreciate it. It makes life much easier. Oh, you can't see others there. That's interesting. I always thought you could. Oh well. How do you receive things? Does it have to be... Is it literally just press circle on the person? I guess you don't receive it from the menu. Can you not give it? Oh, here we go. It's so interesting, isn't it? So here we are in Monster Hunter 1, where I can press A, or in this case circle, to receive the item. And then we go to the PSP games and you need to receive it from the fucking menu. You can't just press circle, you have to go and... You have to go into a fucking menu to receive it. Like, why do they downgrade the functionality of Monster Hunter in later iterations? And then they went back to it. I'll need a catalyst. Oh, I'm sure I can work that out. What is that? Blue mushroom and ivy or something? I think so. I don't know if I've got ivy, but I can probably purchase it. God, having a completely unsorted box really is miserable. I bet I don't have either of those things, and I will tell you why. It's because... So I'm a person who hoards all manner of materials because I never know what I'm going to need in the future. Oh, it's bitterbug and honey. I fucking remembered that completely incorrectly. So, bitterbug plus honey. So... Can I fucking buy some bitterbugs anywhere? I mean, I can buy Farcasters and Psychoserums from this guy. So... Do you know what? I'm going to actually buy a Farcaster because that's quite useful. And not overly expensive. It's kind of expensive if I were to buy a lot of them, but... Just to have one sitting in my inventory, that's not too bad. Find them in the field? Oh, fuck. Aha, I can purchase catalysts from the combiner. All is well. All is well. I don't think I'm going to buy more than one. I'm just going to buy just the one that I need. Okay, let's... I happen to have what I need. Very good. Oh, what the hell? So it's not catalyst and... Oh, I've already... I'm trying to combine catalyst and honey. No, I've got what I need. Jesus, I'm confusing myself. Okay, so I need, what? Catalyst and power seed. And I suppose I'll go and get some combination books, if they exist. Do they exist in this game? That's the next question. They do. So I will put Book of Combos 1 and Book of Combos 2 in my inventory and pray that that's enough. That's not what I need. We need to just hurry up and do the correct combination, please. All good. I've got 2 combo books in my inventory. It's 65% with both books. Well, anyway, I got it. All is well. All is well. I wasn't going to do it with no books, but by the sounds of it, I'd want more than... No, it's 75% with 2 books. Well, still got it. Alright, let's get this fucking Aqua Spear. I need to bring my Plesioth fins over. I will still have 1 Plesioth fin left. Thank God for that. At least, well, what I mean is that I'm glad that I have enough. Oh, fuck. Forgot that both of my Cephalos fins were in my box. Wherever they may be... They're sort of a light blue. There it is. Kind of hard to find in an unsorted box. There we go. Aqua Spear Plus with a good chunk of green. How much elemental damage do we have? It is... If I can find it... 230. Can't see it in-game, but the stat does exist in the back end. As in the amount does exist. Very good. I'm happy to see that. Wow. How the hell did you manage to fail a combination with 100% combination rate? Is it because you can technically fail the first time combo? Ethan, I did update the stream information, but maybe it's not updated in all cases? I'm not sure. But yes, I did update it. My initial intention was to play Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, but there were no people to play with, so I'm playing Monster Hunter 1. Oh, your phone notifications. Well, there you go. I can't be blamed for it then. Khamara is asking for us to join. It must be said that if you were to ready up, he would depart without me. That is for certain. Alright. What we got on the board? It's Diablos. Who I'm assuming is primarily weak to water. I'm possibly wrong about this, but I would assume that any monster that was primarily weak to ice in 2nd gen and beyond would be weakest to water in a game where ice does not exist. That's what logically makes sense to me, but once again, it has to be said that Capcom are not very logical in the way that they design their games. Yes, Ethan, I am using a joystick to attack. I got used to it about 2 years ago. Before then it was kind of uncomfortable, but over the last 2 years, yeah. Using an analog stick is pretty good. How it works is, it's as it sounds, so every weapon is going to work differently in terms of what attacks will work for each direction. So obviously with your analog stick you've got 4 different directions to go in. Now you're not therefore going to have 4 different actions with each direction. Usually left and right will be the same action, and then down will be one thing and then up will be a different thing, or up will have nothing. In the case of the lance, it looks like it's the same action for up, left and right. So, despite the 4 different directions, I've actually only got 2 actions with the lance here. So down is an up thrust, left, right and up is a forward thrust. So it is very much dependent on the weapon you're using as to the different directions you're gonna, or the different actions you can get with the 4 directions. Bowgun is the wackiest that I have seen so far. Bowgun actually defies logic. Come to think of it, I wonder if I've got a slap. No, so if I want to... Well, let me tell you what Bowgun does first. So with Bowgun, you unsheathe with down, reload with down, melee with up, and you oh fuck, look out. A communication error occurred. Aborting quest. That's unfortunate. Do you think that was server-based? That was possibly a server outage or a hiccup at server level. This is the first time I've personally encountered a disconnect like that while playing, so the server may have gone down. Anyway, the important point, Ethan, is that when you're using a bowgun with analog stick directional controls, to shoot, you have to actually hit R3. You have to actually click your analog stick. It is shocking. Now, even to this day, I'm not really comfortable with that. I don't think I will ever be comfortable with that. But yes, each time you shoot your bowgun, you are clicking your analog stick, and it's incredible. Couldn't connect, server full. Wonder what's caused that. Did we all disconnect? Can you confirm, AJ, N10? Because I've got a... Oh, I guess it says couldn't connect / server full. You're still playing. Okay, so it's just me then. That's reassuring. It just means that I need to reconnect. It's alright. I'm actually not concerned, for the sake of the live stream, that it happened to me, because in a way, I can demonstrate it. I can show you what it's like. But yeah. It's interesting. Look, it's not for people who are not enthusiasts. This is an enthusiast's space. It's either for people who have always played Monster Hunter in first generation since it was current, or it's for people who are really willing to put the time in. So, if you're neither of those things, feel free to just sit back and enjoy. Again, I would play this more frequently if there were more people playing, but there are not. I'm very fortunate, however, that 2 people who watch me on a semi-regular basis are actually playing this game. So I can play with them when I'm live, if I'm lucky enough. Come on. If I'm getting this long of a loading screen, there might be a problem on my end. Which doesn't make much sense. Well, thank you, Ethan. This doesn't make much sense because obviously I'm streaming without issue now, so why would my server connectivity be poor when these guys are connecting fine? This is strange. You're going to give me an error, or... Okay, no, it's just being really slow. What the fuck? Okay. I wonder why it's being so slow. Okay, so you had a DNAS login fail for the first time earlier, so maybe the server's just having some hiccups at the moment. It might be on its way to going down. But yeah, really, I had a... Oh, wow, it's put... How strange is that? This is why it's so good to experience this, because what it's done is it's put me straight to where I was before. Logging back into the server actually put me where I had disconnected. If you would have asked me if that's what the server did when you disconnected, I would not have told you yes. I would not have even assumed in a million years that you'd be put back to where you were disconnected. That's amazing. Not even, well, Monster Hunter Tri didn't do that. I can't speak for DOS because I haven't experienced it in DOS, but I know for certain that in Tri it did not put you back to the same room. I mean, unless I'm not connected. No, I'm in Area 1. Town 1. How strange is that? Yeah. Well, no, Ethan, I don't know if the session was... Well, yeah, unless that terminology is accurate. In game designing terms, or in game design terms, I don't know what a session means completely. But apparently the session remains even when I'm disconnected, and then somehow if I haven't switched off the game, the session remains. How interesting is that? Well, here I am. I will reiterate, that is not something that happened in Tri. Of all the things Capcom could have done well, they do that well, and then the rest of the game's a fucking mess. And I love this game, I have to make that very clear. I really enjoyed this game, a lot of things were done well, but a lot of things were done horrendously. Just absolute mess, but... Anyway, I'm assuming that these guys are still on their quest. Yep. So I can actually see that a quest is in progress. It doesn't tell me what it is. But you see, this is enough. This is still better than, say, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, where it doesn't tell you shit. And do you know what? This is an excellent example of just how bad that 3 ultimate system is, where it doesn't tell you if a quest has been departed on or not. Even if they don't want to take the time to tell you all the details, if they don't want to figure out a way to show you what the quest is, who's on the quest, how long the quest has been going on for, you can just do this. Surely this is easy enough to do. They didn't even do that in 3 Ultimate. I'm playing the first Monster Hunter game and they can at least tell me if there is a quest ongoing. So, yeah, the next question is, if I'm actually properly connected. I'm not too sure if I am. It looks like I am because these are the same people who are here. But maybe this is a ghost session, maybe this isn't actually for real. Once they return, I suppose I'll find out. But I haven't been told that they have finished the quest and they have returned, but yeah. This all seems, for the moment, to be sweet. All under control. Okay. Ethan says, my understanding would be that the server is being hosted by one person, and as long as that person is still in, it carries a soft memory of certain types of data using RAM. So it wouldn't be a person as in a player, because we're connected to a world right now. So yes, there was a quest host, but I disconnected from that quest and it returned me to the world. It returned me to that location. So yeah, it wouldn't be a player, but it would be the server itself. The server itself has retained that information. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's weird to you, which is more meaningful than it being weird to me, because I don't know shit. I don't know anything about the back end of a video game and how it works. So yeah. Yeah, this is a PS2 game, so... Mid-2000s Japanese wizardry? Don't know. Anyway, I will actually visit the bathroom while I'm waiting for these people, and I'll be back soon. And would you look at that? It is the same session. It is not a ghost session, it is not some sort of memory of what once was that does not have any... It bears no resemblance to an actual ongoing online session. It is the session. So... And then, to be fair, if there's strange connectivity going on, it's probably pretty likely you're going to upswing someone, even if you're not close to them. And we did see a little bit of latency in previous hunts, where the monster was moving around a lot, so... I'd actually vote for Gravios, because... Hold on. I will place my vote in-game. Okay. Well. LOL, ha 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 ha! Well, look. I've got a Waddle Ants that I want to actually try out, so... I'd rather use it against the Gravios. And N10 wants to do Gravios, so... Break the tie. He definitely broke it. Doesn't mean we can't do Rathian next. That's the important point. Ah, you're not allowed to use that word, Ethan. That's a banned word. Now, typically it has an S on the end, but you're not allowed to use that word around here. I do say that tongue-in-cheek completely, by the way. I can never avoid people referring to that game, but yes. At least for today's live stream, I've decided it's banned. Well, Anton, it might depend on your keyboard setup. I don't have that issue. I just hit the spacebar and it doesn't send the message, so... Whatever your keyboard setup is... It must send a message instead of creating a space. Okay, so apparently he's not using the cheat. That must mean, therefore, that I have the cheat. I don't remember how I set up this game, but... Anyway. The word wild, which I said had an S on the end. Anyway. Because of Monster Hunter Wilds. You know, the next Monster Hunter game that we're all pumped for. The one that's going to save the series, right? The one that's going to redeem Capcom. Well, I know you have hope. You have to have hope. You are a glass half full type of person. Now, I'm not always a glass half empty type of person, but I'm sort of glass half empty and the glass is full of sludge when it comes to the subject of Monster Hunter, so... You know. To say that I'm pessimistic would be an understatement. I will be coming to you for information about that game. I'm not going to be experiencing it for myself. If we're doing Gravios, I can... Well, actually, I can't post it. It's 4-star, I don't have access to that. Do you have it, Inton? Actually, what rank are you? I didn't check. You're 19, Jesus. You're almost there. There's his Discord, everyone. Message him today. Of course, he doesn't have to be that worried about his his Discord being made hugely public. It's not like I have a huge audience. He was probably thinking in his head that it would be a name that people playing this game would be able to see. But, as I say, he doesn't have to worry about it being made too public. AJ has upgraded a gun. It is the flechette gun, which is a type of... Well, if I'm to believe the knowledge that I've gained from Battlefield, it is a type of shotgun shell. But anyway. Yeah, it has to be said, like, I come from a country where your average person has precisely zero experience with firearms. But I feel that from playing first-person shooter games, I'm fairly learned when it comes to firearms. Just not in terms of physically handling them. I know things about firearms, and I can identify different firearms. You know, you need first-person shooter gaming to, or maybe just shooter gaming in general, just as a way of informing yourself in life. It's a life skill to know about guns, isn't it? Isn't it, mate? Alright. So once again, my lance is fully upgraded. But it looks like it's rarity 1. Just to calibrate everyone who is unfamiliar with how Monster Hunter 1 works. Not really, Ethan. I think you just sort of, you hope for society. You hope that society is through and through, almost down to its very structure, designed to never let that happen, rather than put the power in the hands of the small man, of the everyday individual. Because when you put the hands in the... If you put power in the hands of the everyday individual, then you're more likely to have issues. Now, I don't completely agree with what I just said in all contexts, but possibly in context with that, I do agree. I agree with that idea. But yeah, it's more about having confidence in how your society is structured. And the raw numbers support that. The statistics and the raw numbers support that. In this context. But I'm not going to be drawn into a wider discussion on that. Because I'm trying to play Monster Hunter. Ooh, I'm really liking how this lance feels. It feels effective. It feels like it's just cutting through this monster, and I like it. It's that green sharpness. Because as previously mentioned, this is the highest sharpness of the game, so you would expect that it would be effective. And it is, it's really just slicing through the monster, and I feel like I've got an endgame weapon. And it feels nice too, to be using something that's not a sword and shield or a gun in this game, because prior to actually making this lance, all I had was a sword and shield and a gun. Now I'm back down to yellow sharpness. Contrary to what you might be able to see in-game, because for some reason they choose to give you a shining yellow blade when you take yourself up to green sharpness. What's that about? I don't particularly want to have a discussion about how this might technically be a shade of green. To start with, I don't agree. And second of all, we've already seen the shade of green that they've chosen to use for the sharpness meter, so why didn't they just do that for this sharpness meter or sharpness indicator on the heads-up display? Like, why would they make it different? It's strange to me. I don't really understand it. Okay. That was a fucking clean, quick hunt. And I feel like I participated well. With my shiny new water lance. Yeah, it feels so strange that hitting down gives me the upward thrust. It's a bit odd. But anyway. There's some spider webs that I can gather around here. I don't know if I need them. I was thinking about what could be gathered in this area, and I realized that spider webs might be one. One such thing. You know, this kind of bothers me, this abandoned cart. I don't think I've ever mentioned it on a live stream before, but when I see this abandoned cart, I think of the felines who rescue you. And when I see the cart abandoned, I'm thinking, what happened to the felines? Where did they go? Are they okay? And to be honest, if the answer is a morbid one, that's kind of sad because they're, you know, the cute little fluffy cats, you know. Maybe not fluffy, let's just call them furry. Cute little furry cats. And they might be dead. And if you think about it, if they're the ones that carry the cart, or move the cart, they're probably cats that are here to help hunters. They're not like the evil ones with the bombs. They're the more humanitarian cats, the ones that just want to help. That's sad, isn't it? Got to think more deeply about these things. Think of the cats. Think of the dead cats. Or don't, I guess. Again, this is all tongue-in-cheek. This is coming from a person who generally does not give a shit about the lore of video games that he plays, so... What? I'm not sure if that... I'm not sure about that, AJ. In response to what I've just said, AJ says, it's like when you see a shopping cart left in a parking space at a supermarket. Are you sure? You might have to explain the crossover there, or the correlation, or the relation between those two things. Are you, are you saying that maybe the shopping cart was in that parking space because a person was standing there with the shopping cart and then got run over by a car that was trying to park there, and then as soon as they saw that, you know, the person had been run over, they just backed out and looked for another spot? Or perhaps, even more ideally, went to another supermarket? That's the only way that I can create any sort of linkage with the first comment that I made. But anyway. It's getting all philosophical at the moment. Oh, I see. It was left behind without consideration for the hunters who get their camera stuck on it. Okay. Well, that's another way of looking at it. I like my story more, but the one that you tell is possibly more relevant to our actual lived experience. Alright, what the hell are we hunting next? I'm feeling pretty chuffed with my water lance. My Aqua Spear Plus. Feels like I'll be able to actually build a really solid character in this game because I'm going to have a lot of time building HRP. That I can say for sure. I mean, there are 20 HRs in this game and I have an endgame weapon. I have 2 endgame weapons. You know, 2 weapons that are going to be perfectly effective against all of the monsters that I have yet to fight. That may speak to a sort of strange balancing that exists in Monster Hunter 1 that doesn't make all that much sense, but it almost gives me the green light to, well, actually I might use my sword and shield for this quest. But it gives me the green light to just start making a whole lot of weapons. Just a really well-built character with a full arsenal. Oh yeah, the music's good. That's one of the things that old Monster Hunter does very well. I didn't do a very good job of talking about what Monster Hunter 1 did well earlier on in the live stream because I've already explained it before and didn't want to try and pull all of those thoughts out of the ether again. You know, once it's been said for me, like I'm a bit of a... I like to wing it. If I've got an idea, I like to just say it and then it's gone. I didn't really want to pull all those thoughts out, but you remind me of one of those things, Ethan, and that is the atmosphere. The way that they have the atmosphere of Monster Hunter for the hunter to experience is very well done. It absolutely nails it. It's all very emotional. It's hard to really critically explain why this is actually one of my favorite Monster Hunter games, which it is. So many things objectively wrong with it. But the music is great, and the atmosphere is great, and a lot of other things are really well done too. Things that feel intrinsically Monster Hunter. Those characteristics that were originally almost inalienable, and then Capcom came along and said, sorry guys, we're going to reboot the series now. And then Monster Hunter World came out. What the hell am I doing? I'm changing weapons, yeah. I can fiddle around in that item box for as long as I want. I'm not going to achieve what I'm actually attempting to achieve. Almost overfilled my glass there. Have those arguments strengthened your opinions or rounded them? That's the question. Do you feel better about World or worse about World after having arguments with a person who probably doesn't agree with you? Both? Nah! Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Yeah, I agree that I mean, you can't... When you engage in the argument, you sort of have to approach it with an understanding as to why people appreciate World in the way that they do. Of course, I mean, to me it's obvious. It's obvious why a person who appreciates World in the fullness of their opinion, like, yes, they love it, and they appreciate all the things that are good about it. It's so obvious why. You know, I recognize those things, but I push them to one side because the glaring problems, for me, cannot be reconciled. That's the point, you know. It's not like I'm sitting here going, oh, what do they like about it? I don't get it. The question is, how do they focus on the things that are good whilst pushing aside the things that, for me, are just horrific and demean the series? And these days I'm actually uncomfortable with speaking of World in such caustic terms, because World compared to Rise is pretty damn good. So I feel like I need to reserve that kind of overly emotive language for Rise, which is a game that truly has no self-respect. And indeed, Capcom had no self-respect in coming out with that game, so I feel like World doesn't deserve that sort of treatment. But no, I did really feel that way about World in the past as well, and I don't think I was wrong to say what I said in the past and to feel those emotions. And it really was as recent as, 2019. When I had those very strong opinions, and... What the hell's... What are we hunting? Are we hunting Rathian? I think so. How is she already moving? What a bitch. Get over here. Well, if she's coming here, I'd best deal with these Bullfangr. Well, if you're speaking to your roommate, who doesn't even use potions, like... I don't know, I suppose it's a unique perspective. It's always worth listening to a perspective that's almost incomprehensible, because you're always going to learn something. As for rounding your opinions, or maybe even chastening them, or causing you to rethink them, like, I don't know. Not really. I don't even know why you... Well, I know why you take the time. He's your roommate. And... I don't know anything about him. You've always referred to him. I mean, unless it's a different person to the person I've always heard about. But yeah. If it's always been that same roommate, you're the same guy, well, you're pretty close to him, you know? So I suppose it makes sense that you take the time to have that discussion, but... If I recognized that amount of difference in perspective between myself and that person, it would be so exhausting to have a conversation like that I wouldn't even begin the conversation. You know, as soon as I had recognized that almost Pacific Ocean-sized expanse of blue water between myself and the other person having the discussion, it would almost be a waste of time to start. So, yeah, I suppose it's almost commendable that you take the time. And depending on your perspective on how you approach the discussion, it's pretty amazing that you do take the time. If it's from a perspective of winning the argument, nothing more, then probably doesn't mean all that much. But if you're concerned about strengthening your opinion and also learning something, then it is definitely to be commended. Can't speak English? We popped off that tail almost immediately. Did it even happen in this area? Or did it happen in Area 6? I'd be doing very well to find the tail in this location. Or rather in Area 3, specifically, because there's so much foliage here. Well, here's the question. Have you succeeded in convincing him of anything? I think that's key. And can I just say tentatively that if you had failed to convince him of anything, you probably wouldn't still be talking to him, so I'm assuming you've convinced him of some things and possibly opened him up to opinions he hadn't even begun to entertain in the past, but I don't know, it's not how I operate. I think it's important to express your opinions clearly when you've got a strong opinion, but arguing it until the end of time with a person you're likely never to convince, I can't bring myself to do that. I feel like life's too short. It is important to hear other perspectives, of course, but life's a balance. I don't know if I want to spend all that time talking to one person. But as I say, it's your roommate, so maybe it's worthwhile. No, we agree on nothing. He hates everything that makes for a traditional experience. How do you do this to yourself? How do you do this to yourself? Because you're much like me in that you feel very strongly about traditional Monster Hunter. In a positive regard. I would be so... I don't know. My sensibilities would be so offended by this person. that I wouldn't even have the conversation. And I'm sure you can be quite convincing, and he still doesn't budge. Whatever. Well, continue apace for as long as you wish. But I suspect that eventually you're gonna hit a brick wall if you haven't already. Well, don't be hyperbolic. I'm trying to actually get some information out of you here. Like, what does he agree on? Like, every time I check my item box, I just feel almost a sense of loss. I feel like if I would enjoy this game so much more if I had more control over this crap. Doesn't this just look like the most chaotic arrangement of items ever? Look at my honey. There's a stack here, there's a stack here. I've got some Vespoid shells next to my Genprey fangs, and Pale extract next to my Cephaloscales. Like, what the fuck? Got a random commendation in between two Rathian materials. Fucking hell. This is the thing, AJ. I haven't reached a point in the game where it's worth sorting anything yet. I think you have to be very late in the game to actually take the time to sort things. Because I'm happy to admit that when I first started Monster Hunter, I didn't know that there was a button to sort things automatically, so I was manually doing it. That's one thing that never went in Monster Hunter. There was always the option to manually sort things, and I used to do it. But that was only very early on, obviously, but... So I know what it feels like, but see, I need to wait until I've basically fought all of the monsters in the game, and a decent number of times, before I bother sorting things out. Otherwise, something's going to come along that just ruins the format. Something's going to spoil it. Or I'm going to have some sort of influx of items that I need to then resort. I'm happy to take the time to do it. I just want to do it once, and then hopefully have a system that doesn't need to be fixed after that. I think the point in the game that I'm at currently is a bit too early in order to be making that sort of change. As for the next monster that we do, I'm happy to do anything, really. As long as it gives me good HRP, because that's what I need. As for Hamara, I don't know what this person... Oh! Looks like they're the same hunter rank as me, so we must be in the same boat. I don't know if I had actually checked this person's hunter rank the whole time. You'd like to do one Rathalos, okay. Happy to do that. I don't have him. Does anyone have him? Well. Rather than cycle it, we'll just do something else. Which will technically cycle it. How about Khezu? Do we want to do Khezu? Oh, okay. AJ's posted something. Anything that lets me use my lance, I'm willing to fire. Invisible terror. Not as invisible as you might think. He's a giant fucking rock monster. But I guess he does hide fairly effectively. Mara said, "Be right back," and then literally was right back. It was within less than 10 seconds of that message being sent. Hallelujah. Ah. We have been randomly placed about the map. I'm happy to make do with my current stamina. What are we hunting though? It's Bassario, so I'm going to take myself down this way. So, quest info. This is 3-star. So it's still low rank, but it's putting us in random places. Again, it seems to be specific quests where you get placed randomly around the map. It's very odd. I don't know what that's about. It's just Capcom making a decision that sometimes the hunter should be placed randomly around the map, and then not having it actually correspond to a logical system like, I don't know, all high rank quests, for example. Instead, we're getting it in low rank. And I think, yeah, I can't speak for high rank. I don't know if all high rank quests do that. I'm not sure why it's all, or rather some low rank quests that do it as well. Maybe they're just trying to get us used to the idea. I don't know. Oh god. I was not expecting a hip check though. I don't really know how that friend of yours, Ethan, can simultaneously think that anything that relates to traditional Monster Hunter is bad, yet also think that there is a problem with Monster Hunter as it is. That means that actually puts him in a rare third category, which quite frankly doesn't deserve to have an opinion, as far as I'm concerned. I think that's... If I were Capcom, and I wanted to get a group of people together, let's imagine a focus group dedicated to creating a Monster Hunter game that simultaneously stays true to a real vision of Monster Hunter, but also can be largely agreed upon by a generality of people, I would not be including opinions from your roommate, because he's like the group of people that is least likely to be fucking pleased by anything. And obviously he's entitled to his opinion, but why on earth would anyone take the time to try and satisfy him? Because he's unsatisfied by everything, therefore, that Capcom's come out with as far as Monster Hunter is concerned. So, well, I don't know. I don't think he's... No. That's unbelievable. He's ridiculous. I think he's a ridiculous person. I think he's a truly ridiculous person to have listened to everything that you've said and doesn't budge. Because it means that he is quite selfishly pursuing his streamlining ideals for the series. And if you have explained everything to him that you would reasonably explain, like, if it's anything like the conversations that you and I would have, it would make it very clear to him that there is an entire group of people in the mix here who have been quite unfairly disenfranchised by the direction the series has gone in, and he actually has the temerity to not only say fuck all of those people and their preference, but to say Capcom hasn't gone far enough in streamlining Monster Hunter. Look at all of these items that are just useless. What's with all these useless items? What's with these potions? I don't need potions. Like, what an actual plank. I just I wouldn't give that person the time of day. Not in this conversation. There will always be that one person who has just a really, really unnecessary opinion, where you just sit there and go, well, that's real nice, that's real cute, but look, having you involved in this conversation is just unhelpful. Like, he is that person. And I realize why you engage him in that conversation, but God forbid, like, I would not even... words would not even pass my lips in his direction on this subject. I would not. Well, I can see that you're pretty disappointed and confused by it yourself, but I don't know, you're getting a taste of your own medicine, your own willingness to engage a person who is this incomprehensibly absurd. This is what you're getting. Anyway. That's my last hunt, because I have done a solid 3 hours of this game, and look, I've enjoyed every moment of it, and again, I do thank AJ and N10 for joining me for this hunting session. As I've said before, part of the reason why I don't play this game very often is because it's hard to get a group to play with, and I consider myself very fortunate that you're both here to help this live stream along. I'll try to do a little bit more of this game in future. We'll see. And I'll also try to, work on my character going forward, like in my own time. Because the better my character has been built, the better I think the viewing experience of me live streaming this game will be. But I think it will always be interesting to a person who does not themselves play first generation Monster Hunter to watch me play through this game. So, one way or the other, I will record this game again when it feels appropriate to do so, irrespective of my progression through it. And I will see you at that time, or when I'm recording something else that you'd like to watch. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.